Ravi had lived in the Willow Creek Estates for nearly 5 years. It was a quiet, gated community with manicured lawns, smooth streets, and neighbors who mostly kept to themselves. Life was predictable, safe, and orderly, just the way Ravi liked it. He appreciated the calm, the sense of security, and the way the community felt like a small town tucked away from the chaos of the city. On a bright Saturday morning, Ravi prepared for a guest. He had invited Meena, a colleague he respected deeply, over for a casual lunch. They had been discussing some legal projects at work, and Ravi thought it would be nice to continue the conversation in a more relaxed setting. Meena was always calm, intelligent, and poised, and Ravi valued her insight. He cleaned the living room carefully, arranged some snacks, and even brewed fresh tea. Everything was ready when his phone buzzed. A message from Meena confirmed she was leaving and would be at the gate soon. Ravi smiled. He liked having guests, even if it was rare in his quiet neighborhood. At exactly noon, Meena's car approached the main entrance. She was driving a sleek black sedan, polished and immaculate. Ravi's heart sank slightly as he noticed 2 security guards waiting by the gate. They were large men, serious-looking, and known in the community for their strictness. Sometimes Ravi thought they were too strict, but he had always followed the rules and they had always let him pass without trouble. Meena stopped at the gate. The guard stepped forward, blocking the car. "Good afternoon, sir," one of the guards said, his tone polite but firm. "May I see your ID and the purpose of your visit?" Meena smiled politely, reaching into her bag. "Hello. I'm here to visit Ravi Patel at House 24B. Here's my ID." The guard examined it closely. His eyes narrowed as he scrutinized the card. "You are not on the guest list," he said, his voice sharper now. "I need confirmation from the resident." Ravi, who had walked up to the gate, waved his hand. "It's me. Ravi Patel, she's my guest." "Everything is fine." The guard shook his head. "Sir, rules are rules. We need verification before allowing entry. Please step back." Ravi felt a rush of irritation. He had invited Meena personally, and had even informed the HOA office in advance about his guest. Yet here he was, being questioned like a child. He tried to stay calm, but his voice grew firm. "Meena is a guest at my house. I confirmed with the office. You are not following protocol properly." "Let her in," Ravi said. The guard's expression did not change. He raised a hand, signaling that he was not budging. "I cannot allow entry without proper clearance." "You understand the rules, sir?" Meena, sitting quietly in the car, looked at Ravi. Her calm demeanor contrasted sharply with his rising frustration. She remained seated, composed, and attentive. There was no sign of anger or fear in her eyes, only a quiet observation. "Ravi, it's okay. Let me handle this," she said softly. Her voice was smooth and confident. Ravi hesitated. He wanted to resolve this quickly, but he knew Meena had a presence that could command attention even without raising her voice. He nodded reluctantly and stepped back. Meena rolled down her window. "Good afternoon. I am here to see Ravi Patel at 24B. I have my identification ready, and I assure you my visit is legitimate." The guard leaned in, squinting at her ID once more. "You are not in the system. We need confirmation from the resident. Please step out of the vehicle for verification." Meena's smile did not falter. She opened the door slowly and stepped out of the car. She was tall, well-dressed, and carried herself with grace. She approached the guards calmly, her posture relaxed but assertive. "I understand your duty," she said politely, "but I am here as a guest and I have identification. You can verify my identity with the HOA office if necessary, but I do not appreciate being treated as a security risk." One of the guards muttered under his breath. Ravi could hear the irritation in his voice. The other guard stepped closer, his large frame making Meena seem smaller, though she did not back away. Ravi felt a pang of worry. He knew the guards were strict, but he had never seen anyone confront them so directly. Meena's calm confidence was impressive, but he feared it might provoke them further. "Please, sir," Ravi interjected. "She is my guest. You can call the HOA office if you need confirmation. Don't make this difficult." The guards ignored him. "Step aside, ma'am," one said in a commanding tone. "We need to check your credentials fully." Meena's eyes met his. "I have already shown my ID. I am willing to cooperate, but I expect respect. This is a professional visit, not a threat." The situation grew tense. Ravi felt heat rising in his chest. He could see other neighbors looking from their windows, some curious, some concerned. The guards seemed determined to assert authority, while Mina remained unshaken. Ravi stepped closer. "This is unnecessary. She is my guest. Please, let's do this calmly." But the guards did not step back. One of them grabbed Mina's arm gently but firmly, guiding her toward the side for further verification. Mina did not resist, but her calm gaze did not leave the guard. "Sir, I think you should call your office," she said to Ravi. Her tone was even, but there was a quiet firmness that made Ravi feel the seriousness of the situation. Ravi fumbled for his phone and dialed the HOA office. "Hello, this is Ravi Patel at 24B. My guest Mina is at the gate. The guards are refusing entry. Please confirm her visit," he said. While waiting, Ravi could see the subtle tension in the guards' posture. They seemed unsure now, noticing Mina's unwavering presence. She spoke to them politely, explaining her credentials and reason for visit. The words were simple but precise. Minutes passed. The HOA office answered and confirmed the visit. Ravi breathed a small sigh of relief. "She is verified. Please let her in." The guards hesitated, muttering among themselves. Ravi felt a mix of anger and embarrassment. He had hoped for a calm visit, not a confrontation at the gate. Finally, one guard stepped back. "Very well. You may proceed. We apologize for the inconvenience." Mina smiled politely but did not relax entirely. "Thank you," she said. She climbed back into the car. Ravi followed her with a mixture of relief and concern. As they drove into the community, Ravi glanced at her. "I am so sorry about that. They can be difficult sometimes." Mina shook her head lightly. "It's not your fault. But we need to be careful. They take rules seriously, maybe too seriously. I handled it, but others might not be as patient." Ravi nodded, feeling a new awareness. The calm, orderly world he had taken for granted suddenly felt more complicated. He realized that even in a safe, gated community, small misunderstandings could escalate quickly. They reached Ravi's house. He opened the door for Mina and let her inside. The living room was warm and tidy, the sunlight streaming through the windows. Ravi tried to focus on the peaceful setting, but his mind kept returning to the gate and the confrontation. Mina settled on the sofa, her posture relaxed. "Ravi, thank you for inviting me. Let's just enjoy the lunch and conversation. We cannot let a minor conflict ruin the day," she said with a smile. Ravi nodded, grateful for her calm attitude. He poured tea for both of them, hoping to shift the focus back to lighter topics. They began to talk about their projects, ideas, and recent developments at work. Yet in the back of Ravi's mind, the memory of the gate lingered. He could not shake the image of the guards, their serious faces, and the tension in the air. The thought made him uneasy, but he knew that Mina's composure had diffused the situation, at least for now. Little did Ravi know that the morning's confrontation was only the beginning. The guards' reaction had been influenced by more than just rules. They had no idea whom they were dealing with. Mina's calm authority and quiet strength hid an identity that would soon change everything for Ravi and the entire community. For now, the tea was warm, the conversation light, and Ravi felt a cautious relief. But beneath the surface, the day held more surprises, lessons, and revelations than he could imagine. The morning's confrontation at the gate lingered in Ravi's mind. Despite the peaceful setting of his home, he could not shake the image of the guards' stern faces. He knew the incident could have escalated further if Mina had reacted differently. She had remained calm and collected, but Ravi felt a growing unease. After lunch, Ravi and Mina moved to the living room where sunlight streamed across the floor, painting golden patterns on the carpet. The air was warm and the faint aroma of tea filled the room. They tried to shift their focus to conversation, discussing work projects and upcoming legal initiatives. But just as Ravi started to feel a semblance of normalcy, his phone buzzed with a message. It was from the HOA office. "Ravi, the guards reported an incident with your guest. They are on edge. Please advise." Ravi's heart sank. He quickly typed a reply, reassuring them that the situation had been resolved. Still, the unease gnawed at him. Mina noticed the sudden change in his demeanor. "Ravi, what is it?" she asked, her calm tone a contrast to his worry. "It's nothing serious," he said, forcing a smile. "Just a report from the guards. They seemed overly concerned after the morning's incident." Mina nodded slowly. "Sometimes people react strongly when they feel rules are challenged. It is not about us personally, but how they perceive authority. We must be cautious. But we can handle it. Ravi appreciated her calm perspective, but deep down, he knew the situation might not be as simple as she suggested. By mid-afternoon, Ravi decided to step outside for some fresh air. The community was quiet, almost too quiet after the earlier commotion. Children played in yards far from the main gate, and neighbors moved about their homes with polite smiles. But Ravi felt a subtle tension in the atmosphere, a ripple that had started with the morning's confrontation. As he walked toward the driveway, he saw the two guards lingering near the entrance, talking in low voices. When they noticed him, their posture stiffened. They exchanged glances before one of them stepped forward. "Sir, may we have a word?" the taller guard asked. His tone was neutral but firm. Ravi nodded, though he felt a wave of apprehension. "Of course," he said. "What is it about?" "We just want to clarify the incident this morning," the guard said. "Your guest, she caused a bit of concern. We need to ensure that such situations do not happen again." Ravi felt his patience thin. "She is my guest, and she followed all the proper procedures. The incident was unnecessary. I would appreciate it if you refrained from confronting guests in this manner in the future." The guard's eyes narrowed slightly. "We are responsible for the security of this community. It is our duty to enforce rules. We are not accusing anyone personally, but we must maintain protocol." Ravi sighed. He understood their role, yet he also knew their approach had been aggressive. "I understand your duty," he said. "But rules should not override respect and common sense." This morning that balance was lost. The taller guard opened his mouth to respond, but Ravi noticed a subtle shift. Their conversation was being overheard by a few neighbors who had come out of curiosity. The presence of witnesses made the guard slightly uneasy. Ravi realized that tension was building not just because of rules, but because people were watching, waiting to see what would happen next. Meanwhile, Meena, observing from the living room window, remained calm. She had seen the guards approach and their subtle nervousness. Though she did not intervene, she prepared herself mentally for any further confrontation. She had dealt with challenging situations before, and she knew composure often had more power than force. Suddenly, a knock echoed from the front gate. Ravi looked toward the gate and noticed another figure approaching. A middle-aged woman holding a clipboard, clearly from the HOA office. She walked quickly toward Ravi, her expression serious. "Mr. Patel," she said, her voice firm. "We need to speak about this morning's incident. The guards are reporting unusual behavior from your guest. Can we discuss this calmly?" Ravi nodded. "Yes, of course. Everything has been resolved."
"Meena is inside now."
"I believe there is no issue." The woman shook her head slightly. "They feel the situation needs formal documentation. It is a precaution." Ravi's frustration grew. He had invited a guest to his home, and now the issue seemed to have expanded unnecessarily. "I understand," he said, "but I assure you Meena is cooperative and calm. There is no problem." The woman glanced toward the house, then back at Ravi. "We still need to be thorough. Please have her meet us at the gate so we can clarify everything." Ravi hesitated. Asking Meena to return to the gate felt unnecessary, even disrespectful. But before he could protest, Meena appeared at the doorway. She had anticipated this request, and her expression remained composed. "I heard the conversation," she said softly. "I will go with you." Ravi felt a mixture of relief and worry. Meena's willingness to handle the situation made him feel supported, yet he could not ignore the tension building outside. The walk to the gate was silent but heavy with anticipation. The two guards had straightened their posture, their expressions unreadable. The HOA woman followed closely, clipboard in hand. Ravi stayed slightly behind Meena, unsure how the situation would unfold. "Good afternoon," Meena said politely. Her voice was calm, controlled, and authoritative. "I understand there was some concern regarding my visit. I am here to clarify any questions." The taller guard stepped forward. "Ma'am, we need to verify your identity and ensure that your visit follows proper protocol." Meena held her head high. "I have already shown my identification. My visit is legitimate and I am happy to cooperate. I request that our discussion remains professional and respectful." The guard's jaw tightened. He had expected resistance or intimidation, but Meena's calm assertiveness unsettled him. There was no fear, no anger, only quiet confidence. It was as if she were in control of the situation, even though she was the one being questioned. Ravi noticed a subtle shift in the dynamics. The guards were no longer projecting authority with certainty. Their movements became cautious, hesitant. Mina's presence and demeanor commanded attention without confrontation. The HOA woman spoke, flipping through her clipboard. "Everything seems to be in order," she said finally. "We apologize for any misunderstanding." The guards were simply following procedure. Mina nodded politely. "I appreciate that. Clear communication and respect go a long way in resolving such matters." The guard stepped back, visibly relieved that the situation was diffusing. Ravi exhaled, feeling the tension in his shoulders ease slightly. As they walked back toward the house, Ravi glanced at Mina. "Thank you for handling that. I don't know what would have happened if you weren't so calm." Mina smiled faintly. "It is important to remain composed. Sometimes people react strongly because they feel challenged. Calmness can prevent escalation. Let's focus on the rest of the day." Ravi nodded, grateful for her wisdom. Yet he knew that the morning's incident had revealed a deeper truth. Even in a controlled, secure environment, small misunderstandings could quickly grow. He wondered how many people in the community had noticed, how many were forming opinions, and what the guards might think about future visits. That evening, as Ravi and Mina enjoyed tea in the living room, the memory of the gate loomed quietly in the background. The sunlight dimmed, casting long shadows across the floor. Ravi reflected on the events, realizing that authority, perception, and communication all played roles in everyday interactions. For Mina, the day was routine. She had handled the challenge with patience and clarity, leaving no room for conflict. But Ravi sensed that her presence, her calm authority, had left an impression on the community's security staff. The tension was not fully resolved. It was simmering quietly, waiting for the next moment to surface. Ravi knew the day had been a lesson. Even in a quiet, gated community, the balance between rules and respect, authority and empathy could be fragile. He appreciated Mina's guidance and presence more than ever, realizing that her calm approach had prevented a minor conflict from becoming a major incident. As night fell, the community returned to its usual calm. Yet for Ravi, the memory of the confrontation, the guards' tension, and Mina's quiet authority remained vivid. He understood that the day had changed something subtly within him, a deeper awareness of how appearances, behavior, and respect intersected in everyday life. The day had begun with a simple visit, but it had escalated into an experience that neither Ravi nor the guards would forget. And little did Ravi know, the situation was about to reveal an even greater surprise, one that would challenge assumptions, command respect, and leave a lasting impression on the entire community. The morning after the confrontation, Ravi awoke with a sense of unease. Although the previous day's events had been resolved, he could not shake the feeling that something significant had shifted in the atmosphere of Willow Creek Estates. Even in a community designed for safety and order, unexpected incidents had a way of revealing hidden tensions. Ravi had prepared for another calm day. He and Mina were scheduled to discuss work matters, but he also wanted to enjoy the quiet comfort of his home. Breakfast was simple and the sun shone brightly through the living room windows. Yet as Ravi went about his routine, he noticed subtle signs that the previous day's incident had not gone unnoticed. From the corner of his eye, he could see the two guards lingering near the entrance of the community, their movements unusually cautious. They spoke in hushed tones, frequently glancing toward Ravi's house. It was clear they were discussing the events of the day before, and the concern in their expressions hinted at more than routine protocol. By mid-morning, Ravi received a phone call from the HOA office. "Mr. Patel," the voice on the line said, "we need to discuss yesterday's incident. The guards reported unusual behavior from your guest, and the board wants clarification." Ravi felt a knot tighten in his stomach. "I understand," he replied. Everything was calm inside the house, and Mina is cooperative. "What kind of clarification do you need?" The person hesitated. "We just need verification of her role and identity. Please provide any relevant information." Ravi glanced at Mina, who was sitting nearby, reviewing documents for their work discussion. "Mina," he began carefully, "the HOA is asking for verification of your visit and identity. Can you help?" She looked up, calm as ever. "Of course," she said. "I expected that might happen. Let's handle it professionally." Ravi nodded, though he felt a rising tension. He could sense that the guards' concern had not been routine. Their behavior hinted at a deeper worry. something more personal than just protocol. Later that morning, Ravi and Meena stepped outside to address the situation. As they approached the entrance, the guards straightened immediately, clearly on alert. Their expressions carried a mixture of caution, unease, and surprisingly respect. "Mr. Patel, Ms. Meena," one of the guards said, his voice measured. "We need to confirm your identity and purpose again." Meena's calm eyes met his. "I understand your duty," she said softly. "My purpose is to visit Mr. Patel at his home. My identification and credentials are available, and I am happy to provide verification." The taller guard, whose brow furrowed slightly, seemed unsettled. He glanced at his partner, then back at Meena. Something about her presence made him hesitant, a quiet weight that demanded careful consideration. Ravi could feel the shift, the subtle tension that had grown since yesterday. Meena reached into her bag and produced a formal card, her credentials clearly displayed. "Here's my identification," she said. "You may also verify my position with the relevant offices if necessary." The guards leaned in, examining the card closely. As they read the details, Ravi noticed a sudden change in their posture. Their cautious confidence faltered, replaced by a mixture of astonishment and alarm. The taller guard whispered something to his partner, his voice low, almost inaudible. Ravi stepped forward, concerned. "What is it?" he asked quietly. The taller guard looked at Meena, then back at Ravi. His voice shook slightly. You are the district attorney?" Meena nodded, her calm demeanor unchanged. "Yes, I am. I understand this may not have been clear, and I apologize if my presence caused concern. My intention is purely to visit Mr. Patel and discuss professional matters." Ravi could hardly believe what he was hearing. The guards, who had seemed so stern and unyielding yesterday, now looked genuinely anxious. Their earlier aggression was replaced by careful deference. Ravi realized that the situation had escalated far beyond a simple misunderstanding about a guest. One guard swallowed hard. We did not know. We had no idea." Meena's voice remained calm, but it carried authority. "I understand. Rules are important, but it is also important to verify facts before taking action. Today is an opportunity to correct misunderstandings professionally." Ravi stepped closer to her. "I had no idea either. This changes everything." The HOA office representative, who had joined them at the gate, glanced at the guards, then at Ravi and Meena. "I see now why there was concern," she said carefully. "We did not anticipate that your guest would hold such a position." Meena nodded. "It is understandable. However, I expect respect and professionalism in all interactions regardless of identity. Let us focus on resolving this calmly." The guards stood silently, their hands folded in front of them. Ravi could sense the weight of responsibility on their shoulders. Their earlier confidence had been shaken, replaced by a careful consideration of how they should act in the presence of someone with authority far greater than their own. Ravi felt a mixture of relief and apprehension. Relief that the misunderstanding could now be resolved, and apprehension at how this revelation might affect future interactions within the community. He realized that the incident had uncovered more than just protocol issues. It had revealed a gap in understanding and respect between the community's residents, staff, and visitors. Meena continued, her tone firm but measured. "I am here as a guest, not as an enforcer. The purpose of my visit is professional discussion. Let us ensure that everyone understands the situation clearly, and that no one feels intimidated or disrespected." The guards nodded, still visibly shaken but composed enough to acknowledge her words. "We understand, ma'am," the taller guard said carefully. "We will follow your instructions and ensure respect moving forward." Ravi could feel the tension in his shoulders ease slightly. Meena's authority and calmness had diffused what could have become a major conflict. The guard's response was now professional, respectful, and cautious, exactly the outcome Meena had intended. As they walked back toward the house, Ravi reflected on the morning's events. He realized that assumptions, appearances, and incomplete information had fueled the conflict. The guards had acted based on their perception of authority, not knowing who they were dealing with. Meena's calm and clear approach had not only resolved the situation, but also restored order and professionalism. Inside the house, Meena and Ravi settled back into the living room. The sunlight streamed through the windows, creating a sense of calm that contrasted with the tension outside. Ravi poured tea for both of them, feeling a renewed appreciation for her composure and insight. "Ravi," Meena said softly, "authority can be both visible and invisible. People often act based on perception rather than fact. Today we clarified reality without confrontation. That is the real measure of influence." Ravi nodded thoughtfully. "I see that now. Your calmness and professionalism prevented an incident from becoming a real problem. I am grateful for your approach." Meena smiled faintly. "It is always better to resolve situations with clarity and respect rather than force. That applies in communities, workplaces, and everyday life." Ravi reflected on the events. He understood that the confrontation at the gate had been a test of composure, judgment, and authority. Meena had passed it effortlessly, and he had learned a valuable lesson about perception, communication, and leadership. Yet, despite the calm in the house, Ravi could not shake the awareness that the guards and the HOA staff were now aware of something they had not anticipated. Their behavior had changed subtly, their actions measured, and their caution heightened. The revelation of Meena's position had introduced a new dynamic, one that would influence interactions in Willow Creek Estates for days to come. The day continued with calm conversation and shared ideas. But beneath the surface, the morning's revelation hung quietly. Ravi understood that the balance between rules, respect, and authority was delicate. A single incident could shift dynamics, reveal hidden tensions, and demand careful handling. By late afternoon, the community seemed to have returned to its usual quiet pace. Yet Ravi noticed subtle changes. Neighbors who had watched the previous day's events now seemed more aware. Guards moved more cautiously, and the HOA staff maintained a closer watch. The revelation had created a ripple effect, one that Ravi realized could not be undone. Meena, sensing his concern, placed a hand gently on his shoulder. "Do not worry, Ravi. Knowledge and authority should be handled with care. Today we clarified the situation without confrontation. That is a positive outcome." Ravi nodded, feeling both relief and respect. He realized that the morning's incident, while unsettling, had revealed important truths about people, perception, and professionalism. Meena's presence had turned a potentially chaotic situation into a lesson in calm authority and respectful resolution. As evening approached, Ravi and Meena enjoyed tea quietly, the soft glow of sunlight fading into a warm, gentle light. Ravi reflected on the day, understanding that the events at the gate had been more than a misunderstanding. They had been a revelation, a moment that exposed hidden dynamics and taught him the value of composure, respect, and clear communication. The day had begun with tension and uncertainty, but it ended with clarity and understanding. Ravi knew that the revelation of Meena's identity would leave a lasting impression on everyone involved, and he felt grateful for her calm guidance and presence. The revelation of Meena's identity had left a lasting impact on Willow Creek Estates. Ravi noticed subtle changes everywhere he looked. The guards moved with caution, neighbors exchanged whispered conversations, and the HOA office staff appeared more attentive than ever. The calm exterior of the community masked a simmering tension. Ravi could sense that the events of the previous 2 days were far from forgotten. After breakfast, Ravi and Meena prepared to leave the house for a short walk. The morning sun bathed the community in warmth, and the air was crisp and fresh. Ravi wanted to clear his mind, and Meena seemed agreeable to the idea. Their steps were slow, measured, as they walked past the manicured lawns and neatly trimmed hedges. As they approached the main entrance, they noticed the 2 guards standing rigidly near the gate. Their eyes followed Ravi and Meena, their expressions a mixture of respect and unease. They seemed almost intimidated, a stark contrast to their usual confident demeanor. One guard cleared his throat. "Mr. Patel, Ms. Meena, we are here to ensure everything is handled properly today," he said carefully. Meena stopped and turned toward them. "I understand," she replied calmly. "We want the same. Let's ensure clarity and professionalism in all interactions." The guards nodded, their posture shifting to a more formal stance. Ravi felt a strange sense of satisfaction. Meena's calm presence had already diffused tension, but he realized that their attention to detail now stemmed from awareness rather than authority. Suddenly, a car arrived at the gate. A middle-aged man in a suit stepped out and approached the guards. Ravi recognized him immediately as the HOA manager. He carried a folder, his expression serious but composed. "Good morning, Mr. Patel, Ms. Meena," the manager said. We have reviewed yesterday's events and your visit today. I want to ensure that all parties understand the situation and that we proceed correctly. May we have a few moments to discuss this? Ravi nodded. Of course. I think it's important to resolve this calmly. Mina's calm eyes met the manager's. I appreciate your involvement. Let's discuss the situation openly and professionally. The group moved to a small seating area near the gate, away from the street, but visible enough for anyone passing by to see that the conversation was official and respectful. Ravi felt a mixture of anticipation and nervousness. He trusted Mina, but he also understood that the presence of HOA management meant the situation could escalate, depending on how it was handled. The manager opened the folder and began speaking. Yesterday, an incident occurred with 2 of our guards and your guest. There was confusion about her identity and the proper protocol for entry. We want to clarify the rules, responsibilities, and expectations for everyone involved. Ravi listened carefully, trying to remain calm. Mina's composed presence gave him reassurance. The manager continued. It appears that the guards acted according to protocol, but they were unaware of Ms. Mina's position. This caused tension and concern. We want to ensure that moving forward, such situations are handled with clarity, respect, and professionalism. Mina nodded. That is fair. Rules and procedures are important, but they must be applied with understanding. People should not feel threatened or disrespected. My visit is legitimate, and I expect it to be treated as such. The manager glanced at the guards, who nodded silently. He then addressed Ravi. Mr. Patel, it is important that your guests are registered and confirmed in advance. However, we also need to ensure that staff and residents treat guests with respect, regardless of initial assumptions. Ravi understood the point. I agree, he said. I want to ensure that my guests are welcomed, and that misunderstandings do not escalate. Mina's visit has been handled well on my end, but I see that further guidance is necessary for everyone. Mina added, clarity is key. If procedures are clear, everyone can act confidently and respectfully. This prevents conflict and fosters cooperation. The HOA manager nodded, his tone thoughtful. We will review the procedures with all security staff and communicate expectations. Additionally, we will document this incident to ensure proper follow-up. Our goal is to maintain safety while respecting residents and guests. The guards remained silent, but their expressions reflected understanding. They had realized that authority was not about force or intimidation, but about knowledge, clarity, and professionalism. Ravi could see that Mina's calm approach had left a strong impression. After a few moments, the manager closed the folder and addressed everyone. Thank you for your patience and cooperation. I believe this situation can now be considered resolved. We will implement measures to prevent future misunderstandings. Mina smiled slightly. I appreciate your attention to detail. Resolution with respect and clarity is always the best outcome. Ravi felt relief wash over him. The situation had been stressful, but it was now clear that everyone had learned valuable lessons. The community's procedures would be improved, and respect for guests would be reinforced. Most importantly, the guards now understood that calm authority was more effective than force or intimidation. As they walked back toward Ravi's house, Ravi reflected on the events. He had invited Mina for a simple visit, but the situation had evolved into a test of composure, communication, and professionalism. He realized that appearances could be deceiving, and assumptions could lead to conflict if not handled carefully. Mina walked beside him, her presence steady and reassuring. Ravi, she said softly, today demonstrates that understanding, calmness, and respect are powerful tools. People respond better to clarity than to authority alone. Remember this in your interactions, whether in work or community life. Ravi nodded, grateful for her guidance. I see that now. Your approach prevented conflict and ensured that everyone understood the situation. I am grateful for your calmness and insight. Later in the day, Ravi and Mina hosted a brief follow-up conversation with the HOA staff inside the house. They discussed procedures for guest visits, security protocols, and communication methods. Mina provided clear suggestions, emphasizing professionalism and respectful interaction. The HOA team listened attentively, taking notes and asking questions to ensure proper understanding. The conversation was productive, and by the afternoon, Ravi could sense that the tension had lifted. The guards moved with renewed professionalism. Neighbors no longer watched anxiously, and the community seemed to regain its quiet rhythm. Ravi realized that the incident, while challenging, had led to improvements that would benefit everyone in the long run. As evening approached, Ravi and Meena sat in the living room, enjoying a quiet moment of reflection. The sunlight cast soft shadows on the floor, creating a sense of calm and closure. "Ravi," Meena said thoughtfully, "today demonstrates that authority and respect work hand in hand. People respond to calm, clear guidance better than force or fear. This lesson applies everywhere, not just in communities." Ravi nodded, sipping his tea. "I understand. I will remember this. It's not just about rules, but about how they are applied with clarity and respect." Meena smiled faintly. "Exactly. The best outcomes come from understanding, patience, and professionalism. Conflict is often avoided when people communicate effectively and treat each other with dignity." Ravi felt a sense of gratitude and admiration. Meena's presence had transformed a potentially stressful situation into a moment of learning and improvement. The guards had learned the value of calm professionalism. The HOA staff had updated procedures to prevent future issues, and Ravi had gained insight into leadership and communication. As night fell over Willow Creek Estates, the community returned to its usual quiet pace. Lights glowed softly from the windows of houses, and the gentle hum of evening activity filled the air. Ravi reflected on the events, realizing that the morning's confrontation and the subsequent resolution had changed the dynamics of the community in subtle but meaningful ways. Meena, sitting calmly beside him, added, "Remember, Ravi, every situation offers a lesson. The key is to observe, communicate clearly, and maintain composure." Today was an example of how small actions can create positive change. Ravi nodded, feeling a sense of closure and understanding. He knew that the events of the past 2 days had revealed hidden dynamics, taught important lessons, and strengthened his awareness of human behavior. He appreciated Meena's guidance and presence, recognizing that her calm authority had prevented conflict and inspired respect. By the time Meena prepared to leave, the atmosphere in the house felt light and peaceful. Ravi walked her to the door, reflecting on the challenges and lessons of the day. "Thank you for everything, Meena," he said sincerely. "Your approach changed the outcome completely." "I've learned more from this than I expected." Meena smiled warmly. "You did well, Ravi. Awareness and calmness go a long way. Remember, leadership is not just about rules. It is about clarity, respect, and effective communication." With that, Meena left, her presence leaving a lasting impression on Ravi and the community. The guards and HOA staff would remember her approach, and Ravi would carry the lessons forward in his interactions. The situation that had begun with tension and uncertainty had been transformed into a moment of growth, understanding, and resolution. Ravi closed the door behind her and exhaled, feeling relief and gratitude. He knew that the day had been a turning point, not only for him but for the entire Willow Creek Estates. The morning after Meena's visit, Willow Creek Estates felt unusually quiet. Birds chirped softly in the yards, and the sunlight illuminated the perfectly maintained lawns. Yet Ravi noticed a subtle tension lingering in the air. The events of the past 2 days had left their mark. The guards moved with careful precision, neighbors seemed more aware of their surroundings, and the HOA office appeared busier than usual. Ravi sipped his morning tea, reflecting on the recent events. What had started as a simple visit had become a lesson in patience, authority, and respect. He thought of Meena and the way she had handled the confrontation, calm, confident, and respectful. Her presence had transformed a potentially serious incident into an opportunity for understanding and improvement. Soon, a knock at the door drew his attention. It was the HOA manager, looking serious but composed. Ravi invited him inside. "Mr. Patel," the manager began, "we wanted to follow up on the incident involving your guest yesterday. The board has reviewed the situation thoroughly." Ravi gestured toward the living room. "Please have a seat. I hope everything is resolved now." The manager nodded. "In part, yes. However, there are consequences for the guards involved. Their behavior was not entirely professional. While they followed some procedures, their actions caused unnecessary stress and intimidation. The board has decided to issue formal warnings and additional training for both guards." Ravi listened carefully, feeling a mixture of relief and vindication. I understand. I appreciate the board taking this seriously. It was a learning moment for everyone. The manager continued. We will also implement clearer protocols for guest visits. This includes better communication between residents, HOA staff, and security personnel. The goal is to prevent any similar incidents in the future. Ravi nodded. That sounds fair. Mina's visit highlighted how important communication and clarity are. Everyone can benefit from these improvements. The manager smiled slightly. Indeed, it is a good outcome despite the tension. We hope the community will learn from this experience. After the manager left, Ravi sat back, reflecting on the lessons of the past days. He realized that authority and rules were important, but equally important was the way people applied them. The guards had acted out of duty, but without awareness of context and identity, their actions had nearly caused a serious conflict. Mina's calm and composed response had prevented escalation and created a space for understanding. Later that morning, Ravi received a message from Mina. Good morning, Ravi. I hope all is well. I trust the community is adjusting to the clarified procedures. Remember, calmness and clarity are powerful tools in any situation. Ravi smiled as he read the message. He quickly replied, thanking her and expressing his appreciation for her guidance. Mina's wisdom had made a lasting impression on him. By mid-afternoon, Ravi decided to take a walk around the community. As he passed the main gate, he noticed the two guards standing with visible care in their movements. They greeted him politely, their demeanor respectful but slightly cautious. Ravi could tell they had learned an important lesson. One guard spoke quietly, almost apologetically. Good afternoon, Mr. Patel. I want to assure you that we are following the updated procedures and will be more careful in the future. Ravi nodded, appreciating their sincerity.
Thank you.
I know you are responsible for keeping the community safe. I hope these new guidelines make your work easier and more effective. The guard smiled faintly. Yes, sir. We understand now. Respect and clarity go a long way. Ravi continued walking, thinking about how easily assumptions and miscommunication could escalate into conflict. The experience had shown him the importance of patience, empathy, and professionalism in everyday life. He realized that even in a secure, well-maintained community, human interactions required careful attention and understanding. Back at his house, Ravi settled into the living room, enjoying a quiet moment. The sun had shifted, casting long shadows across the floor. He thought about Mina, the way she had handled the confrontation and the lessons he had learned. Her calm authority had not only resolved the situation, but it also inspired changes in the community that would benefit everyone in the long run. As evening approached, Ravi reflected on the broader implications. The incident had revealed hidden dynamics within the community, how people reacted under pressure, how authority could be misunderstood, and how respect and communication could prevent conflicts. He understood that leadership was not about power or control alone, but about clarity, patience, and the ability to guide others calmly. Later, Ravi received a phone call from a neighbor who had observed the events. Ravi, the neighbor said, I just wanted to say that I saw how everything unfolded yesterday. Mina handled the situation with remarkable composure. It made me rethink how I react in difficult moments. You were lucky to have her as a guest? Ravi smiled.
Thank you.
It was a learning experience for all of us. I hope the community can take the lessons forward. The neighbor chuckled softly. I think we will. The board is already updating procedures and the guards seem much more aware. It's been an eye-opener. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Ravi felt a deep sense of gratitude. The events of the past days had been stressful, but they had also provided valuable insights into human behavior, authority, and conflict resolution. He realized that calmness, respect, and clear communication were tools that could prevent unnecessary tension and build stronger relationships. That evening, Ravi sat by the window watching the quiet streets of Willow Creek Estates. The lights of the homes glowed softly, and the community seemed peaceful once more. Yet he knew that beneath the calm surface, people had learned important lessons about perception, respect, and responsibility. Ravi thought about Mina again, her calm demeanor and quiet authority. He realized that true strength was not about being forceful or commanding attention, but about handling situations with patience, clarity, and respect. Mina had demonstrated that, and the community had benefited from it. Before going to bed, Ravi sent a final message to Mina. Thank you again for your guidance. Your visit has made a lasting impact, not only on me but also on the community. I have learned the value of calmness, clarity, and respect in resolving conflicts. Mina's reply came quickly. You are welcome, Ravi. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity to lead with clarity and understanding. I am glad the situation has been resolved positively. The lessons will stay with you and the community. Ravi felt a sense of closure. The incident that had begun with tension and confrontation had ended with understanding, growth, and positive change. The guards had learned professionalism, the HOA staff had updated procedures, and Ravi had gained insight into leadership and communication. As he lay down that night, Ravi reflected on the journey. The simple visit that had turned into a confrontation had ultimately strengthened the community. People had been reminded of the importance of awareness, respect, and patience. Conflicts could be resolved without aggression, and authority could be exercised with understanding. Ravi knew that Willow Creek Estates would never be quite the same again. The guards were more attentive, the residents more understanding, and the procedures clearer. He felt proud that the situation had led to meaningful improvement. In the quiet of the night, Ravi smiled. He realized that lessons often came from unexpected experiences, and calm, respectful actions could create lasting positive change. Mina's visit had been more than a social call. It had been a demonstration of how clarity, patience, and professionalism could resolve tension, inspire respect, and leave a lasting impression on everyone involved. As the stars appeared in the sky above Willow Creek Estates, Ravi felt a sense of peace. The incident had tested patience, authority, and composure, and it had resulted in growth and understanding for all involved. The community was stronger, more aware, and better prepared for the future. Ravi knew he would carry these lessons with him always, a reminder that calmness, respect, and clear communication could turn even a tense confrontation into an opportunity for learning, improvement, and positive change. The night was calm, the community peaceful, and Ravi felt a deep sense of gratitude for Mina, for the lessons learned, and for the knowledge that understanding and respect could make a difference in every interaction.